Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new PennyWise podcast from Lee Enterprises. I'm your host, Teri Barr. All right, hands up. Who wants to go on spring break? Me. Excited to talk about the topic, especially because it means many family and friends may be planning some trips around spring break or the upcoming holidays. And also thrilled to welcome in to talk with us about this topic, Sara Rathner. Sara's a travel expert with NerdWallet. Sara, it's great to talk with you, especially since we are seeing some upticks in travel right now.
It's always a pleasure, Teri. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, spring break.
I know. Oh my God.
Okay, I know you talk about traveling, you get to travel a little bit for your job. What have you seen recently in any of your travels? How does it feel out there these days?
So my last trip was in the fall of last year. Obviously, because of, everything, I have not been traveling the pace that I normally do, which is more than one international trip a year. I haven't left the country since 2019. So I've been doing more domestic traveling when I can. And I've been sort of embracing national parks and other outdoorsy adventures because it's just easier given COVID to spend most of your time outside. And so I went to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons in the fall, which was just, something to do at some point in your life because Gorgeous. It was majestic. I don't even know, that's the only word I could use to describe it. I can never, you will not get tired of the view of the Grand Tetons. It's impossible.
That is wonderful. And that's good advice. Right now, as we're coming up on spring break, and maybe many families are still a little trepidatious about taking the bigger trips that they may have done in the past. Maybe the parks are a great way to hang together, but also have a lot of fun.
It's true. And, it's a great way if you travel to a place with a slightly warmer climate than yours, you can escape the cold. It's not a beach vacation necessarily, but you can get better weather and just enjoy being outdoors. I mean, we're all trapped inside with work and school all the time. It's really nice to get fresh air once in a while.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know, or do you have any suggestions? Obviously, we're talking about the parks as being a terrific idea. Anything else that people could consider right now that would feel okay for a family or a group of friends?
Beach vacation is also great. It's also time outside. If you're traveling with family or friends, you could rent a house, so you don't have to worry about being in public spaces in a hotel. You can cook your own meals, which is really helpful when you're traveling in a large group for saving money and limiting your time in restaurants. So if you're still feeling hesitant about being out in public indoors, there's still things you can do to have a trip where you feel comfortable and you come home relaxed.
Just talking about it feels relaxing sometimes.
I know.
These days. Okay, let's talk about travel insurance, because it really does seem, if you're booking a trip to anywhere these days, this seems to be kind of an important part of it just because of all the unknowns. So tell us more about travel insurance and what it can do for you.
Yeah, there are still a ton of uncertainties out there, and we just don't know when we'll feel 100% confident again, hopefully soon, but no one has a crystal ball. So if you're booking travel that's very expensive, you're prepaying a lot of the costs, and a lot of those bookings are non-refundable, could be worth looking into protecting your investment with some form of travel insurance. You might already have coverage. If you have a travel rewards credit card that offers travel protections, that might be enough, because that can help you get reimbursement if your trip is canceled or delayed, or you have to cut it short due to a covered reason, like becoming ill on your trip or becoming ill before you leave. But if that coverage is not enough for what you're looking for, then you could consider a separate travel insurance policy.
Okay. It makes sense, right? So is it something, as people are kind of going through their travel planning, should they add that in there right away?
So first, you want to think about what kind of bookings you're making. If you're booking refundable plane tickets, hotel stays, you're going to get your money back as long as you cancel within the right amount of time. And you just want to know what that deadline is. Do you have to cancel 48 hours before you leave, 24 hours, 7 days? You got to be clear on that. When you book, leave yourself a calendar reminder, just so you know, if I'm backing out of this trip, I need to do it by X date.
Yeah.
So you aren't paying for the reservation that you're not using. So when you're making your bookings, first choose those carefully. If it might be worth paying a couple dollars more to get that refundable hotel room or that refundable plane ticket, or at the very least, review the policies of the airline and see, a lot of airlines have eliminated change fees. So you can still reschedule a flight for no extra cost. If you can't if you don't end up traveling when you thought you were going to. So
Yeah.
build that flexibility into your bookings from the start, and then use travel insurance if appropriate to fill in any gaps.
Okay. That's a brilliant idea too. I love that you mentioned put it on your calendar so you don't forget. You
Yeah.
can almost imagine how many times that happens to people.
Oh,
And you
for sure.
mentioned,
And if you have, one thing that's 7 days out and one thing that's 48 hours
yeah.
before, you might mix them up. And then all of a sudden you can't cancel what you need to cancel.
Oh, that would be awful. You mentioned the cancellation and the changes. We are seeing a little bit of movement and changes there, but not too bad yet. Am I reading that right?
In terms of airlines, you mean? Or
Yeah.
yeah, so typically hotels and rental cars have always had that flexibility to
Good.
cancel almost to the last minute. So even before the pandemic, you had that for the most part. Airlines, of course, are a different story, but at the onset of COVID, they built in a lot more flexibility to get credits back for canceled travel. And then now they've eliminated change fees. That has remained. So we'll see how things progress. It could be that they eventually go back to the policies they had before the pandemic. We just simply
Ugh,
don't know when that will be.
okay. That's good to know.
Mhm.
And then I guess if in the end you've booked everything and you're listening to this podcast and now you realize I didn't even think about travel insurance. Should I do it? Can you still do it at the
You
last
can.
minute?
You
Okay.
can. It might cost you more.
Okay.
So if it is not yet the last minute for you, today is an excellent day to start looking into these things. You can check out nerdwallet.com. We have lots of great articles about travel insurance. So if you have never booked it before, you need some more information, check us out. But when it comes to travel, especially now, last minute stuff it's just adding a lot of needless stress to
Mm,
what will already be a stressful experience. So give yourself the gift of planning things as far in advance as you can.
okay. And for people that haven't traveled in a really long time, it's going to be interesting to get back out there, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like people have forgotten the choreography to the airport dance with, do
Oof.
I take my shoes off? What do I put on the belt? Should I keep on my jacket? You forget to take the wallet out of your pants. And it slows everybody down. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's in each other's way. So you want to give yourself extra time to get to the airport, to be at the airport in case you go through a long security line or in case there's flight cancellations or delays because of weather. Just give yourself time because you don't want to start your vacation stressed out. And if you start your vacation stressed out from the moment you leave your house, it's just going to color the rest of your trip. And you've spent a lot of money to go. So give yourself the time so you can actually use this vacation to relax.
I love it. Time and breathe, everyone, breathe.
Yes, deep cleansing breaths.
Oh my gosh, so much great advice. Thank you. And I know you're going to help a lot of people as they're getting ready for their spring break trips. Of course, we wish them all a wonderful vacation. Sara Rathner, travel expert with NerdWallet. Always a pleasure, Sara.
Back at you.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for listening to this PennyWise podcast. All of the PennyWise podcasts are available wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Thank you. And we will talk to you again next time.